Welcome everyone, I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy. Today, we are talking about karma. So the title of this free mini class is What's Wrong with My Karma? 5 Tips to Improve Your Karma. One of the most important things to understand about your karma is that there's a lot of myth and misunderstanding surrounding it. It's not at all uncommon to see that people feel as though they have bad karma, they have bad luck, they have bad juju or energy following them for some reason, and they often accredit that to past life or something they did in their past, even in this life. It's punishment. They must have done something wrong to deserve this. And that has been perpetuated by certain religions that like to feed that fear-mongering programming. And what's really important to understand about karma is it's entirely up to you. Karma is in your hands. The karmic payout that you receive is all about the choices that you make. When we talk about karmic contracts with somebody else, or if you have a karmic lesson that you need to observe in this life, we're talking about you in a relationship with somebody, and there's some kind of lesson that needs to be experienced, or maybe some debt owed. When we're talking about this between you and yourself, it's an agreement that you made with yourself. You and your higher mind decided before you came to Earth that you were going to accomplish certain tasks, grow, and learn some lessons. The biggest misunderstanding, I think, with karma is not even that it's punishment. I think it's about this concept that we came to Earth, and Earth is meant to be rainbows and butterflies, good times, and noodle salad. And that is not what this planet is designed to be. The human experience of coming to Earth is about growth. It's about development, and it's about opportunities and taking those opportunities, okay, that's karma, to level up. Now, at any point when you're confronted with your karma, you can choose to go high or you could choose to go low. It's entirely up to you. The universe isn't waiting and watching. I was thinking of karma today when I was making my coffee here. I got this new Keurig, and it only does 1 cup at a time. And it's really annoying because sometimes I don't understand why when I push the button, it's not automatically making the coffee, even though I put water in there. So I'm realizing the Keurig is only going to make in the 1 cup maker as much coffee as you put water in. You can choose 6, 8, 10, 12. It's going to be dark and potent if you only choose 6. It's going to be lighter and more watery if you choose the 12. But it is only going to make as much in that cup as the effort that you put in, the water that you put in. So it took me a while to figure out how to use this stupid thing. I'm thinking this is exactly what karma is. And this is exactly what life is. You come to the universe and you get out of it what you put in. You reap what you sow. So when looking at the tests in life, the lessons, the growth opportunities, the karma, the negative karmic kickback, it has to do with you. And it isn't necessarily that you've earned it as much as it is that you haven't learned that lesson yet. You haven't finished or accomplished that task yet. You haven't completed that contract yet. So it lingers. And karma, or this idea of bad karma, is sort of like going around the mountain again and again and again. We just want to end the cycle. We want to climb that mountain and get to the top. The minute you get to the peak, the minute you get to the top of that mountain, you get a new karmic lesson. And that is the experience of life. And that's okay. I want to talk to you guys about some good karma. And then I want to move on to the 5 tips that I have for you today. Let's talk about good karma. Let's talk about positive karma. All this really is a payout. It's sort of like if you manage to save from every paycheck you got, then you would have a buildup of savings. If you managed to invest wisely in something like a piece of real estate or a stock or a bond and it did well, then you would have a greater investment. You would have better payout down the road. It's all about the amount of effort that you put in. And it's often expensive. It is not easy to save. It is not easy for a lot of us to buy that piece of property, to accomplish that task. It costs in sacrifice. It costs in the flesh. It will cause you some level of discomfort, growing pains. And if you put in that effort and get through it, guess what? You're going to have tremendous karmic payout. So a lot of people, when I see that they are coming with a really positive energy every day to the world, when they're really rooted and grounded, when they have a sense of knowing about themselves, when they don't have to reach and chase and hustle and grab at everything, but they know how to manifest, they're utilizing law of attraction, they're in the way, they're bringing it to them, everyone's drawn to them. I know that they're working with good karma. When I see people hustling and nervous and like chihuahuas and barking and upset and blaming circumstances and other people, I know they're out of the way and that they aren't doing what they need to do with their karma. Okay, so it's really a very simple truth here, and that is that the effort you put in is exactly what you're going to get out. And when we see positive karmic payout, it typically comes in bouts. And we see this a lot during pivotal years. I talk about life contracts here a lot. You guys can always book one of those with me. My life contracts match Vedic or Western astrology and numerology. It's all sort of the same thing in a different language. And one of the things that I notice is that people have really great karmic payout at the end of a pivotal year. We get about 5 to 6 pivotal years over the course of our entire lives. So we really need to maximize every single one of these. And here's the trick with a pivotal year and a huge opportunity to level up and get that good karmic payout. As you approach one of these 6 pivotal years, you have 2 years of detox. 2 years of detox lead up to every major opportunity for you to level up in your life. During those years of detox, you have to let go of people and situations, things that are holding you back in life, maybe breakups and divorces, right? Job change, maybe a relocation. We can often see the birth of a child or the death of people close to us. It's a lot of change and transition. And the people who do well, the people who get amazing karmic payout at the end of this pivotal year are those that let go during the detox years. And that's the discomfort that we have to face, is a reality. Those that fail their pivotal years won't let go of stuff they're not supposed to be holding on to. So if it is not yours, release. If there's something you're supposed to do, pay attention and just do it. Okay, we need to get out of the double-mindedness. 5 tips to better karma. Number 1, stay in your lane. It is possible that you are having some negative karmic kickback because you are enabling someone else. You are not holding someone accountable. This could be anyone in your life, but I most typically see it when people are doing it with a spouse, a lover, or a child. We have to be careful that we don't see everyone else in the world as being separate from us, detached from us, different from us. While that's true, that everyone is their own person, everyone has their own path, it is also true that energy connects, and law of attraction is a very real thing. Energy feeds energy. And when you are entangled with someone else and you are crossing that boundary line repeatedly, you are enabling them to have bad behavior, you're not holding them accountable, you are essentially stifling their growth. And the negative karmic kickback that they have coming onto them is going to come onto you as well. So you need to set proper boundaries and let everyone learn their lessons. It's sort of like saying, if I love you, I will let you go. Or if I love you, I will let you trip and fall on your face and pick yourself back up, whatever it is. But we can't continue to overreach and expect to have good karma. Number 2, you are refusing to do something in your life that you know you're supposed to do. A lot of people come to me and they say, I feel like I'm cut off from spirit. I feel like I meditate every day. I use so many crystals. I've taken so many classes. I'm certified in literally everything. I don't understand why I'm not hearing more from my ancestors, my loved ones, my guides. Why am I cut off? This is always a sign that you have been told to do something and you are refusing to do it. Now, the rule of the light, the law of the light, meaning all spirits in the light that are going to come to you and assist you throughout your lifetime, they have to abide by those laws. And one of the greatest laws over there is that they can only come to you if it's going to be for your benefit. They can only come to you if it's going to be for a healing purpose. And they can only give you direction that would be best for your life. And if they're enabling you, let's look back at number 1 on this list of 5 things. If they're enabling you, if they're out of their lane, if they're out of law with the light, then they're feeding your bad karma, and they can't do that. They can't keep coming to you. So I always say to my students, You'll be told 3 times to do something. And if you choose to ignore it every single time, and after that you refuse to let go of something you're supposed to, make a change in a new direction that you know you need to, then it's on you. And it's not that they have completely abandoned you, but they definitely cannot continue to reach out and enable you and feed the problem. It's time for you to grow up. Number 3, you are outsourcing your happiness and your growth, aka your responsibility. You're not holding yourself accountable. You're not taking responsibility for your life. You believe it's your lover or your kids or your money or your house, your identity, your reputation, whatever. You are believing that it is up to outside circumstances, others, to make you feel happy. And that if your life is not in alignment with a good, warm, fuzzy feeling, then that is what's to blame, instead of going inward, being introspective, and creating your own happiness from a place of gratitude, from a place of spiritual connectivity, from a place of positive, high vibing energy versus low vibing, toxic energy. You are essentially not feeding your growth and development. And when you don't feed that, you become very out of alignment with law of attraction, manifestation, and the universe doesn't support that. That's not, again, what the human experience is or what planet Earth is. And so you're not reaping any of the benefits. You need to take responsibility for your growth and not blame your circumstances for everything. Number 4, this one's huge. You need to forgive and let go. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go through a healing process without forgiveness. I think that there are parts of the healing process that can absolutely begin. I don't believe either that forgiveness means reaching out to whoever hurt you or receiving any kind of payback from them. You may never get that. Most of us never do. It isn't about the other person or the system that negatively affected you. Whatever harmed you is up to the universe to deal with. And that's all you really need to know about it. It is, however, going to block your prosperity. It will be a block in your heart, a block in your energy field. And you will experience from this block a downturn eventually, even in emotion, mentality. It can manifest physically as health problems, deterioration in relationships, and I already mentioned first and foremost, your wealth. Now we have to also look at wealth. If you're like, well, I haven't forgiven anybody and my money's good, I'm not talking about money. There's a lot more to money in the world, okay? That's like the bottom of the barrel in prosperity. That's the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. We have to be realistic that if we have a restless sense of unfinished business in our lives, we're dissatisfied, there's something that is unfulfilled, like a big gap. That means that you're not in alignment, and that means that you're not fulfilling your life contract. And unforgiveness, bitterness, or resentment is at the root of the majority of this for most people. We do have free mini classes up here on forgiveness and how to go through that process. You may also want to check out a class called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. You got to let go of whatever it is, whoever it is, or whatever occurred that is holding you back from being able to forgive, and that will get the flow going again, and the universe responds to that so quickly. Number 5. You are living in fear, meaning that you make all of your decisions from a place of ego, fear, control versus love, positivity, and faith. So you need to stop and ask yourself, every time I'm confronted with the change I need to make, a decision, a big move, or the way I handle a relationship, do I tend to always make my decisions from a place of fear and negativity, meaning this is what I don't want to have happen. This is what I want to prevent. I definitely don't want to end up like Sue down the street who did the same thing a few years ago or made this big mistake. You're always looking at what could go wrong. Are you coming from that place of fear and ego and control? Or are you coming from a positive place where you say, you know what? I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to come from a place of emotion and fear and toxicity. All I know is that in my bones, in my gut, my intuition tells me that the universe is supporting me in this, and this is something I need to blindly go out and do. And I'm not going to wait till I have all my ducks in a row. I'm not going to wait until I have all the proof. I'm not going to wait until I know what the move after that will be. I'm just going to step out in blind faith and see what happens. That is positivity. That is coming from love. And that is what gets rewarded with good, not bad karma. We have a class up on the website called Karma Contracts and Past Lives. If you want the full official training, I do have a question here. If you guys want to become a member, you can hit that join button. One of our members did ask for this to be added to the curriculum today. This is from Jill. Can a business partner negatively affect your karma? Let's say on a decision that you warned them about. I'm not getting a good feeling. Let's not sign a contract, read more into it, etc. Or is it me knocking them out of a karmic lesson? Okay, when do you speak up and when don't you? It sounds like when do you speak up and when don't you? That sounds a lot like the Stay in Your Lane class that I was referring to earlier that you may want to check out here on the playlist. And there's another one called Your Fear of Speaking Out. So you may want to check that one out as well. But this is a great question. Can a business partner negatively affect your karma? Everyone can negatively affect your karma if you're in bed with them. Absolutely. And it is about you knowing when to speak, when to help, when to allow, and when to pull back. We talk a lot lately about holding space for people, and that's really tricky in relationships like a business partnership, because if you're holding space for a business partner that is not doing what they need to do, you're going to see that hit financially pretty quick, or you're going to see that people are just not calling up or turning away from your business. They're going elsewhere, or a local competitor is maybe doing better than you or something like this. And so it's almost like a little science project when it's someone you're involved in with business, because you can measure so quickly, like mathematically, scientifically, right? How fast you're going to get negative karmic kickback from that person being around. And I always say this about that holding space concept. It's good to know when to hold space. It's also good to know when to be cutthroat. And I think that after you say something to somebody once, that's appropriate. I think that if they don't take your advice, or they don't understand what you're saying, or they're deliberately confused, maybe they're egotistical and they just want to do it their own way, I think after that, you don't need to wait for 3 strikes, you're out. I say you see it again and that's it, it's over. But that's just my opinion. I'd be faster with things. I think everyone needs to be faster about making decisions with people, not thinking of them as something more important than what they are, putting them up on a pedestal. Okay, relationships are relationships, and some work and some don't. And they're all different kinds of contracts. They're not all meant to last forever, nor should you cross that line and enable or try to force it to be. There's a class called Soulmates versus Twin Flames. And that's also here on YouTube in the playlist. You would definitely want to watch that and examine the part where I talk about karmic contracts. If you want to learn more, go to my class up on the website called Karma Contracts and Past Lives. When I talk about the myth of twin flames, which has no evidence or proof anywhere and is absolute nonsense, very toxic. When I talk about the twin flame concept, I replace it with karmic contracts in that class. And what we see when we're dealing with someone with a karmic contract is that it's a lot of struggle, and it can become such a burden and really toxic to the individual who is either owed the debt or is doing their best if the other person is not. If the other person is not giving back what they owe you, or they're not trying, what can happen is that your karma gets really toxic really quick. And that is a sign that you need to pull away and take a look at your relationship with this person and see where the benefits lie and where it is that you're required to set more strict boundaries to stop it. It's almost like someone being in the boat with you and putting holes in the boat every time you turn around and go to the helm to steer. And you don't know why the boat's sinking. It's them. So yes, it absolutely happens. You could also book a reading with me anytime and I can look at the contract between the two of you. But it should be pretty obvious in your karma if it's bad and this person always seems to be there at that time making it worse somehow. It could be. You know what it is. Your guides never needed to tell you in the first place. So that doesn't happen. That's the reality. Just because you negated it, you ignored it, you had selective hearing, doesn't mean you're not capable of going in. We are all born with a higher mind, and your higher mind holds all of the answers in the universe. So guides are just here to help. Angels are here to help. Ancestors are here to assist, but it's always within you. It's also, I explain it to my students this way. It's almost like a message on a voicemail. It's a recorded message that's always there for you to tap into. So if you're not sure what they told you the last few times, sit down and say, what have I been instructed on in the past to do? And it will automatically be there for you to access. Well, it looks like a lot of this is about stress. It also looks like it's not necessarily the right time. So we have a couple different things going on. We can't necessarily force a child to come through unless it's part of their contract. So the same way that you chose your parents before you came to Earth and you chose all the work you were coming here to do, you also chose the time frame. And that's not something you can force. So what a lot of people do is they're trying to force a child to come through at a very specific time because it's good for you. It's good for your circumstances or your finances, or this is how I planned it, or whatever. I'm in the relationship right now, and so I better hurry up and do this. And that's not the child's plan. And that's what I feel. And a lot of kids are interested in coming through a lot later. And one of the things that we see with that is that a lot of people aren't either able or they're not willing to bring a child through a lot later. And so you're going to have to look at book a reading with me anytime. We would want to look at the child's contract. And I also feel that there's a lot of stress involved with this. And we have to also remember that for those of you tuning in and you relate to this, sometimes when I do Reiki for people who are struggling with fertility, I will have to actually deal with the stress more than anything else. And sometimes I have to go through my patient to their love partner and deal with their stress. We have to remember that one of the biggest reasons that people are struggling with reproduction issues is because stress literally is like killing the sperm and killing the whole process. And it's just about relaxing and going with the flow. So I'm going to say both of those things I do see going on as some issues from the past, and then going here in the future, we have to be realistic about what contracts are. I think that the class that I designed called Reaching the One, and we have a free mini class on it, but the class is up on the website. And that literally takes your karma and shifts it through a series of exercises to make you ready, to prepare you, to alter your ability to manifest and use law of attraction in your favor where love partners are concerned. So you may want to get that class. But it is all about understanding that you do have people who are assigned to you. You do have potential soulmates. You do have all the workings and the makings of the right ingredients in the universe waiting for you. It's about whether or not it's the right time in that contract, and it's about whether or not you're actually going to be ready to receive it when it shows up. And so get you ready. Know what is your responsibility, and then the rest is just enjoying the ride. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Paul.